In honor of Pride Month, I wanted to talk to you about some of my favorite LGBT books. One of my favorite LGBT books of all time is a sapphic book called Late Night at the Telegraph Club. If you are a lesbian, you're just looking for a lesbian romance book that is so much more than just being a lesbian romance book. This is a really powerful book. It talks a lot about what it's like to be an Asian American, about what it's like to grow up as a lesbian, and kind of just explore your sexuality. And it talks a lot about LGBT history as well, because I think a lot of people, especially the younger generation, forget what all gay people had to go through in order to get to where we're at now. And so it's a bit of a historical fiction book in that sense too. The the writing in it is just very beautiful. It's very powerful. And I've actually spoken to the author a little bit through DMs, and she's like really sweet. And so yeah, no, I definitely recommend Last Night at the Telegraph Club. It is a great book. Another book that I will recommend for the rest of my life is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I cry during this book, and I don't often cry while reading a book. I could not shut up about this book when I first stopped reading it, and while I was reading it. I don't really read all that many romances, and I've tried to get more into romance books, but this book in particular, there's something about the writing and the way that it describes the love between Achilles and Patroclus that I cannot explain how deep and romantic it is. Even if you're usually not into romance books, I really think that you should give this book a try. My Policeman by Beth and Roberts. A lot of people don't like this book, and I can kind of see why. I can see why the jealousy of the woman that is with the main character can kind of be off-putting, and that that character in herself is very unlikable. But I really do recommend people read this if they're looking for a good LGBT book, because again, just Last Night at the Telegraph Club, it says a lot about the history of what gay people have been through throughout time, and you kind of get to put yourself in the shoes of a gay man that was gay during a time that it was illegal to be gay, and what it was like when he had to marry a woman even when he didn't want to be, even when he was in love with a guy, and what that was like internally, the struggle that he had to go through. And you can just really see the frustration of it, and the yearning that he had for the guy that he was in love with and wanted to be with. And I think it's just really good and powerful for people to read books like this so that they can remember where we've come from in terms of LGBT progress. One Last Stop is another good sapphic romance book between two women. I really like this book. It has a little bit of magical realism to it, mixed with romance. And again, I'm not usually into romance books. I've been trying to give them more of a try lately, and this is one that I actually really liked. Really sweet. It's not as serious as other ones, but it is a really sweet romance book, and I do recommend it. And it also does have a trans character in it as well, so it's good for in that sense too. If you're looking for a book with a non-binary character, I haven't seen many books with non-binary characters, but I did read this one that was in a little free library. It's called Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. It wasn't my favorite book, I'm not gonna lie. I gave it about 3 stars because it's just kind of it was okay. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good. But I did really like that it showed what it's like to be non-binary, and kind of the experience of somebody who's non-binary, and what that means, and what they had to go through in life and the struggles that they go through. I really like that element of it. I also like that it takes place in a cooking TV show because I love watching cooking shows, and so that element of it was really nice. So if you're a big fan of MasterChef, or you're non-binary and want to see a non-binary character, this book has a lot of good representation for that. If you grew up as a lesbian, always looking at these Disney princesses and not being able to relate to them because you're a gay and all of the Disney princesses want princes, this is a book that I found very healing. It's called Ass. It is pretty much a lesbian retelling of Cinderella, and it was really nice to see a Disney princess, but that's actually a lesbian, so that's somebody you can actually relate to. I have not finished reading this book yet, but I wanted to include it because I wanted some trans representation in this video. There is Wrath Goddess Sing by Maya 15. I don't know if I'm saying that right. This is a retelling of Achilles, but with Achilles being a trans woman. And again, I haven't finished it yet. I do want to finish it at some point, but I wanted to include a book about a trans woman in this because One Last Stop has a trans man in it, but I wanted to try to include a little bit of all of the LGBT groups in it to try to give everybody some representation. There's obviously a lot of LGBT books I've read and enjoyed that I did not include because this video is already 5 minutes and 30 seconds long. But please comment down below if there's any other books that I forgot to mention. There's a lot that I didn't because I didn't want this video to be super long. But have a happy Pride Month and love who you are and be proud of who you are. Have a great day.